Well, good morning. Greetings and salutations to all you people out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in today, this Sunday, a week until we play again, right? So here we are. We got a bye day for the team, for the fans. And what are we going to do with all this? Hold on. Let me turn down the volume on my speakers. Sorry about that. All right. Sorry about that. So what are we going to do? I think most of us are probably going to have a rooting guide, do something to watch some other games and cheer the team on. But I also thought we could break down why the Lions franchise has become so successful. Well, let's be honest, man, in about the last season, if you count the second half of last season plus what we've done so far this year, it's going to be hard to find a team in the NFL who's done better than Detroit. Doesn't mean that there aren't teams that haven't. There are a few that, statistically speaking, record-wise, have outperformed Detroit. But I think we can all also understand and appreciate Detroit. They finish out the season where we're currently projecting to go, and they continue this next year. There's an argument to be made. Detroit Lions franchise has become one of the best ones in all the NFL. And I think that's something we're all going to struggle to have to start to accept over time if we continue this pace. So anyways, before we get into the actual video and stuff today, as you guys know, got a couple things you got to do. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. It takes you a second to hit that subscription button. We're trying to make a run to get to 4,300 by the time we kick off against the Chargers. Also, if you would, maybe hit the thumbs up button, the like button. If you are unaware and you're new to the channel, outside of doing this and coaching, YouTube and coaching, I am a realtor, have been for 30 years. So if you're anywhere in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, many of you have reached out to me, working with you guys now, trying to help you either save money selling property or purchasing property. If you're in another state and you want somebody to work on your behalf, give you good recommendations, what to do on a particular situation, or find a realtor that's going to work well for you, not just try to take advantage of your wallet, give me a call, 269-998-2384. With all that being said, let's get to the chat, because you know what? I see it's moving a little bit this morning, and I'll try to catch us up. All right, what do we got here? Kurt M. First, finally made a live show. Greetings and salutation chat group. Hope everyone has a great day. Same to you, Kurt, and glad you finally made the show live. Jessica, good morning, Coach D. Enjoy that do with the crew. Hey, I see what you did there. Did you read what Herman Morris said about JMO? I heard about it, and I got some of the gist of it. For those who are unaware, Herman Morris thinks that Jameson Williams has a lot of potential. Thinks he's, just needs to be kind of brought along slowly, build his confidence up. And again, I didn't read the entire article. I just got some of the gists of it, I guess you could say. And I think there's some truth to that. You guys have heard me talk about it. I think he's got a lot of potential, but we talked about it this particular point yesterday. I think he's a player who can evolve into a pretty good receiver, but in lower levels, so high school, college, etc., he is just so gifted from a physical standpoint that superseded the need for him to develop a lot of the nuances of his position and those things are showing now. The fact that he hasn't had to be great at route running or breaks or returns and stuff like that, and returns by return routes, things like that. I think those faults or lack of development, I guess would be a better way to put it, are showing up now at the NFL level, even though he's still superior to just about everybody out there from a physical standpoint. It's just he's going to take some time to really grow. I view this as his rookie year, and I think he is improving. I get when he drops a pass. No, everybody's going to fight me on that, but give him some time. I think by the end of the year, if he hasn't really shown decent improvement, that would be a worry sign. But Jessica, to your point, yeah, I did see that a little bit. All right, and then we got Jess. What do we got? I am enjoying these daily shows. Mad respect to how you break things down. Good job, Coach. Thanks for that, man. Thanks very much for that. Mile marker, what do you got? Good morning, all. Would you know how the team's schedule goes as the bye week continues? Yeah, so for all intents and purposes, and Mile marker, good morning to you, and great question. The bye week's over for the Detroit Lions. They simply don't play today, but the players they'll return either if they didn't yesterday, then the majority of them being today. Maybe a few exceptions will join tomorrow as far as returning to Ford Field in Detroit, things of that sort. The coaches have been back. My anticipation would be since Friday or Saturday. They're already back to work and getting ready, using a couple extra days to start breaking down things on the Chargers. They might even have some sub coaches working on future opponents. So they start breaking things down early and try to get a little bit of advantage. Yes, he got a little bit of a break. And it's needed. I get that. But yeah, most of the coaching staff are already back. All right, Papa Noel, greetings and salutations to you too. Let's see. Papa Noel, by the way, I'm not 100% sure, but correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that means Santa Claus in Creole or French, something like that. All right, Dave, what do we got? Good morning, Dan. Question for you. In your view, who's the best Lions quarterback of all time? Eric Kramer, man, hands down. And why? That dude won a playoff game. If I'm being serious, I should say, that's a tough one, man, because I think there's been some good quarterbacks, and I'm only going to say from the late 70s to now, because those are the ones I've seen. Before that, I haven't seen Bobby Lane or anything like that, so I can't speak on them. But the Lions did have some good ones. I really do think they missed the boat in the 90s by letting A, Kramer go, and then B, not getting Warren Moon, instead going with Scott Mitchell. I think if they would have kept Kramer or added Warren Moon, there's a real good chance that the Lions could have made the NFC championship game again, maybe even the Super Bowl, because they really were stacked on both sides of the ball other than quarterback. And Mitchell, to probably many Lions fans' chagrin, just wasn't what they thought it was going to be. I like Stafford. I just think even today, I think he's a very good player. I think he's just not consistent enough. Sort of like we're talking with Jameson Williams and his speed and how that hurt his development. It just, flat out until you got to the NFL being that much more dominantly physically gifted, it hurt him a bit, in my opinion. So Stafford, on the other part of that, I think that cannon he's got for an arm, it kind of hurt him a little bit throughout his career because he was so used to being able to fire a ball into windows, where the NFL level, the defenders are just a little bit faster. And it's not that they get to his passes all the time, but some of those ones go the other way because, he just can't overpower all the defenders. 8-9 drinks. What do you got, man? Hey, haven't seen it a bit. Good morning. Guaranteed we don't lose today. We do get healthier. Yes, we do get healthier. And that will be one of the good things about, obviously the bye week. The Lions were starting to get healthier before the bye week, other than the offensive line, and this will really help out. So I agree, and I hope you have a great dude today too. All right, John Snow, what do you got? John Snow, good day. Winter is coming. Yes, it is. Sosimo, all right, what do you got? LOL, 9 drinks. I'm all in on that action. Yeah, if you can get a line on that at Vegas, yeah, push all those chips to the middle because, the Lions will not lose today. All right, Phil, do ball day. Yeah, I hope you have a great day too. Greetings and salutations, Phil. All right, Eddie, what's good, Coach Dan? Where do you see us needing to improve the most on either side of the ball? That's a good question. I would say on offense, it's really just the offensive line getting healthier, I think. The receiver room, the tight end room, they've been doing fine. The running back room, I'd say at this point, a lot of questions have been answered about them. Really, it just comes down to their health too, staying healthy. Quarterback play has been good. I get Goff has thrown, some picks. I would also say some of the picks you can wash off, like even last year when he only had whatever it was, 6 picks. One of them was on a Hail Mary at Minnesota at the end of the game. Goff this year, he had one, was against Tampa Bay in the end zone. Was it Tampa Bay? I don't remember, but he threw one in the end zone where he was trying to connect with Jameson Williams, and clearly J-Mo ran a different route than Goff was throwing. Just stuff like that. The one last week against or I guess it's technically it was last week anyways, against the Raiders, where he threw the pick 6. I do think he was trying to throw it away out of bounds. He just didn't get his feet set correctly and didn't get enough power behind it. But either way, I think offensively we're pretty good. Defensively is probably where I think we've got more room to grow, Eddie. What I would say is, I think we've all seen it where the secondary at times has breakdowns against the Raiders, against Seattle, against who was it, the Buccaneers and stuff like that, where people are running wide open. So for me, the communication standpoint to eliminate that, right, wrong, or indifferent, love Aaron Glenn or despise him, whatever you want to say, during his regime, we've seen a lot of that. And it's not as bad this year, but let's just say if Baker Mayfield hits one or two of those deep shots and Jimmy Garoppolo hits, one or two of those deep shots, those games are completely different. Doesn't mean Detroit doesn't win, but those games would have been significantly closer, we could say. So the long answer, I guess, that I'm rambling on, is that they've got to fix that communication where guys stop getting so wide open. Once or twice a season, is it going to happen to everybody? Probably. But I think we're seeing it at an unacceptable rate, and especially for a team who's trying to make a legitimate push for not only the number one seed, but run at the playoffs. So hopefully that helps. I know I went on a little bit there. Nine Drinks, Phil, who do you want to lose today? Yeah, I think we all should have a bit of a rooting guide today. And I know I've said it, I'm pulling for the Cowboys to win today for selfish reasons. I want to see Detroit at the end of the day basically tied for the number one seed in the NFC. There's some other games too, but my view is, hey, if it helps Detroit, I'm rooting against you. So let me know who you guys are rooting for today. All right, Robert, what do you got? Greetings and salutations. Same to you. Hopefully you're having a good morning. Bergs, what's up, man? Good morning, Dan, and the Lions faithful. Yeah, same to you, Bergs. Hopefully you're having a great one, man. What's the temperature where you're at, Bergs? T-Mac, good morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Lose what, Phil? What team? I'm thinking, what teams do you want to lose today is what the Nine Drinks were saying. Basically rooting guide. Who do you want to win? Who do you want to lose? Basically to help the Detroit Lions today. Bergs, what do you got? 14-4 last 18 games. Nice run. It has been, man. And if you look at how that's occurred, so we're not going to spend a ton of time on the offense because I think we all get the offense. Hey, a lot of it's just been great draft picks, I should say. St. Brown, huge home run. Panay really helped stabilize the offensive line. Jameson Williams hasn't really been impactful yet, maybe in time. But, Josh Reynolds, the free agent addition of him. Montgomery seems to have worked out well. Gibbs has worked out well. So from an offensive standpoint, and there's other guys for sure, Laporta, yada, 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 who we've drafted, who we signed as free agents. The offense, it's hard to really critique anybody other than Trinity Benson, I guess. You rolled the dice on Trinity Benson, and you know what? It just didn't work out. But other than him, I at least can't think of anybody from an offensive standpoint who's really kind of not been great results. And JMO, I get, okay, like I said before, I consider this his rookie year. At the end of the year, if he hasn't significantly improved, all right, you can probably put him in the conversation with Trinity Benson. The defensive side, yes, we've had some free agents not pan out. We've had some pan out. But then you look at the draft picks. It's been a little bit more 50-50 there. You took a shot with Levi Onwuzurike. That back it didn't heal. So, say what you want. But from an overall standpoint of this team, the vast majority of draft picks have worked out. The free agent signings are, they're probably higher than 50-50, but we'll say 60-40. But your point, Bergs, why we've been so successful in the last 18 games, look at the draft. And the free agency signings have complemented things. The schedule hasn't hurt, but this team, they say build from the trenches, build through the draft. We started with both lines. We worked our way out. And yeah, this team's set up to make a run for a few years. All right, T-Mac, what do you got? I pray we don't lose our coordinators this offseason. Hey, success breeds jealousy, right? You look at right, wrong, or different New England Patriots. They had just a historic 20-year run. And everybody just kept trying, coordinator after coordinator. I'm surprised teams didn't stop because at some point, the trend is your friend. And just enough coordinators didn't work out where you had to start looking and say, is it the coaching staff or is it something else? Or is it a combination of things that just are not replicable in other situations? With that being said, though, T-Mac, I do think they're both going to get their opportunities. Who's going to take them? That's, I guess, the debate. Unless there's a specific reason for one of them or both of them to stay here, I think, you're on borrowed time. And if Dan, I hate it. I know I'm going to get lit up in the chat. Dan Campbell, if he's doing his job, he's already got people under both AG and Ben Johnson trying to study and basically apprentice under them so they can eventually move into those positions. And instead of bringing in somebody new off the streets or whatever to take over and bring in new terminologies, concepts, etc., I'm guessing they're trying to do what they can to have people ready so when these guys leave, they can just kind of continue what they're doing. It might not be the exact same person, but you don't change everything up so much. We'll see, though. Randy, what happens? Greetings from Charlevoix County. Hey, know it well. I've done some recruiting up there over the years. Some good players. So hopefully you're having a good one. Yeah, great area, man. Don Burr, hey, now the show's going, right? Greetings and salutations to you too, Don. Hopefully you're having a great one. All right, Phil, 9 drinks. What are you talking about? Again, Phil, I think he's saying who you rooting for to win today. That, again, helps the Lions. Michael, what do you got? What up, Coach? What up with you too? All right, Michael, what do you got? Howdy, Dan and Lions faithful. Howdy to you too. 9 drinks. Meant other teams. Yeah, who you rooting for to win and lose in the other games today? Silver Surfer, let's go, Coach. Is Jamar Jefferson back on the team? How is the second-year tight end doing? Forgot his name. I think you're talking about Mitchell. And to be very honest, I'm surprised he hasn't been used more. I get he's been a little banged up. I think he got he was a scratch in a game or two, and not a healthy scratch, physical scratch, hurt. As far as Jefferson, not that I'm aware of, but I guess I'd have to check the practice squad. Maybe they snuck him on the last few days. I wasn't paying attention because of the bye, but I think I don't think he's back yet. Mitchell, I think he's got a ton of potential. The problem becomes, sort of like we've talked in the past, and this week in particular about, Jack Campbell, Gibbs. They're getting, those guys, obviously they're getting their moments to shine, but they're having to do it behind other players that are equally as good. Let's see, Mitchell, I think he's a pretty good tight end, especially a younger one, but Laporta is getting so much attention. And then Brock gets the majority of the backup snaps. It just hasn't left much for him. All right, Phil, what do you got? Hope all the NFC teams lose today, the ones that matter to us. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the fun about being this relevant this late in the season is that we're not talking about the draft. We're talking about rooting guides. Hope this team loses. This team loses. I need that team to win. And we're not doing it for fantasy football. We're doing it for the Detroit Lions in the season, right? So, yeah, it's a great time to be a Detroit Lions fan. Don Burr, what do you got? Basically, Herm wants J-Mo to get the ball and space from the slot, run more St. Brown routes to touch the ball and be able to use his speed to accelerate. Yeah, I mean, there'd be some truth to that. He's gonna have to really earn some of those routes though, because the problem is coming across the middle. That's where I could be wrong here, but anything of a shallow slant or quick in or whatever you want to call, that's where he seems to get a lot of his drops. Some of the ones on the outside where we're bombing away or whatever, I get some of those ones haven't always been the best throws to him, and maybe it's it's the part you and I can't know why some of those deeper shots are off so much. Is it just Goff's out or underthrowing his speed? Is J-Mo running the route not correctly? That's stuff only really the coaching staff can ascertain. We can have a guess on what's going on, but there does seem to be on deeper shots a disparity between Goff and Williams. The immediate routes, that's where I'm more harsh on them because that's where I see him drop it more, but they got to try to keep working with them, whether it's long shots, deep shots, like Herman Moore is saying, and you're saying, Don, those type of shots in space, that's where if they can get him going, get him a little bit more confident, you could really see him take off. All right, Phil, what do you got? 7 days per week, Coach Dan. Thanks. Hey, no problem. I enjoy it. It's become part of my morning routine, getting up here and being on here, so I like it. All right, Robert, what do you got? Do Do you think Donovan Peoples-Jones can mentor JMO? I gotta imagine you've got him, you've got St. Brown. I mean, you've got everybody out there trying to do it. I get Marvin Jones was trying to do it a little bit as well before he departed. So I do think that he's going to keep improving. But if he wasn't here, I put it this way: if he wasn't here at all last year, then everybody would look at this as his rookie year and say, "Hey, rookie struggles." And some people do struggle more than others. And that's all I'm saying is let's just see if he can improve a little bit here and here and here throughout the rest of the year. But could Donovan Peoples-Jones help out? Sure. He's been around for a minute. He's been a good player. And I'm sure he'll try to help work with him. Pierce, what do you got? Dan, I actually agree with that use of JMO. Yeah, and don't make him one-dimensional because that will also slow down his growth and development. Expose him to it all. It may be a pain at times, but when you got a pain, I mean, you got opportunity for growth. And if you baby him, I guess you'd say, then you're going to slow down his growth even more. So, yeah, I would agree. Phil, what do you got? The Kerry Danielson. Yeah, that's one I didn't consider. But, yeah, he wasn't that bad at all. He had moments where he looked pretty good. And so did, oh, gosh, what's his name? David Craig. And unfortunately, I know some Lions players probably intentionally allowed Scott Mitchell to get injured so Craig could get in. Yeah, they've had some good quarterbacks. They just haven't always had great talent around them, and it's tough to make a team great, isn't it? All right, Pierce, what do you got? Don also won a couple of jet sweeps to him as well. Yeah, just anything you can to get him touches, get him confident, and keep him evolving. All right, Phil, what do you got? Donovan Peoples-Jones studying the playbook. Oh yeah, I'm sure they got him on a flight as soon as that trade happened. Got him here. It'd be my anticipation, even though it was the bye week, they asked him to stay around, probably with a couple of people, just keep studying things, help him progress in the playbook and his understandings. That way, he's not just coming in, today or maybe tomorrow morning and studying for the week coming up. Those extra couple days may not seem like a ton, but you give somebody 3 or 4 extra days, that's going to help their progression a whole lot better. All right, what do we got? Dr. D in the house. Don, they have been trying that a lot. He still drops the ball. Yeah, and they're just going to have to keep force feeding them. And I shouldn't say force feeding them because then you're going to take things away from other players. They're just going to have to keep giving them opportunities. At some point, though, they get later into the season and they're not seeing him develop, he's going to fall to being just a backup. And then they may just wait for the off season to try to work with them unless, injuries arise or whatever. Because let's be honest, this team has got an opportunity, as crazy it is probably through anybody who's been a Lions fan for a while, to be significant and to be important, impactful on this season, to be the number 1 seed, to win the division. They need him to develop because he's something they don't have with any of the other receivers. But they also can't slow down the offense or anything to try to give him opportunities. I get against the Ravens, they try to force feed him some in the fourth quarter because, to be honest, that game was over. It was toast. Try to give him a couple shots. The Ravens knew it too. I will say out of those 2 particular in the fourth quarter deep shots they gave to him, he drew a pass interference that wasn't called. And I get the ball hits him in the head, but let's also be fair to the kid. It's hard to catch a ball when somebody's holding one of your arms, especially the arm closest to the ball. The other one, it was just a drop. And he's going to have to get better at ball location, ball hand placement, because I know a lot of you talked about he waits for the ball to come to him. He's got to learn. That's one thing, since we're talking about Herman Moore, he didn't start off with hand placement. He had to learn how to take his hands to the ball. And is what it is, but I get we're talking about him a lot, but let's also understand we're all talking about him a lot, Jameson Williams, because of his potential. If this kid didn't have that speed, that wheels, that athleticism, we wouldn't be talking about him because he wouldn't be here. He is incredibly rare in those regards. He just needs more development. All right, Pierce, what do you got? Great observation. Yes, Don, I agree. Win, what do you got? I made it to the big show. I'm in Dewsville. Yes, you are, Wood. Hey, and welcome on in, man. I know I always see your chats. I see your messages and stuff. We talk a little bit, but yeah, it's good to have you on the live show, man. Dr. D, yeah, drops. Yeah, he's got to work on it. T Mac, who we cheering on? Lions fans day. Let's see if I still got the schedule. I'll tell you who I'm picking at least. Go to the top here. Sorry, I gotta scroll through this. So I'm pulling for one of the games today, the Falcons to beat the Vikings. I just want the Vikings to be done with. No potential, no reason for them to even think about catching us. I'm gonna take the conversely, I'm gonna take the Bears over the Saints. I don't know. Maybe I should take the Saints over the Bears, keep them down. Boy, Packers and Rams. I guess I'll go with the Rams. Anybody else? Ravens. This will be one I'll definitely be paying attention to. Ravens. I would love them to beat up on Seattle. I'm going to take Cowboys over Eagles. I think that's it as far as anything I'm really rooting for or against or whatever. So those are at least mine. So just so you guys know. All right, Silver Surfer. I think that even letting go the horrendous Scott Mitchell mistake, if they had drafted Randy Moss instead of Terry Fair, yeah, they could have gone to the bowl even with Charlie Batch, whom, by the way, I liked. Yeah, Charlie Batch was not bad. It's just he came in. I think you would agree, Silver, that he came in kind of towards the end of that 90s run where they were having to start to let go of some of the better players for financial reasons or age reasons or whatever. But yeah, they definitely have not historically drafted particularly well. They did have some draft classes in the 90s, especially the earlier 90s, where they just, they did have just awesome drafts. But to your point, yeah, I think there are a lot of people in the NFL that wish they could go back on the Randy Moss one, but is what it is. 9 drinks. Donovan Peoples-Jones will be rejuvenated in Detroit. Yeah, he's actually going to have some quarterback play and an offense that's competent. And I don't watch the Cleveland Browns a ton. One of my best childhood friends, though, that's his team, him and his entire family. And they don't live in Cleveland, but man, they are Browns fans, Indians fans, etc., and Cavs fans. And yeah, that's their team. And so I've watched them a little bit, and you could just see he's really not involved. And a lot of that's because of the quarterback play. They just are not settled at the quarterback position. They've a lot of reasons why that is, but I think he's got a real opportunity here to do a ton. And I get he's got an expiring contract too, so he's got a reason to play. But you didn't give up much to get him. If you can get him to, really buy into the culture and everything here, I think there's a good opportunity he may resign here. So we'll see what happens. You got him, on a half a season rental plus the playoffs. So see what we get out of the kid. Phil, what do you got? Put J-Mo next to St. Brown at start catching 200 balls at practice. Word is that he's been working on the jugs machine and everything else. So if he's on those machines and he's catching, like you're saying, Phil, 200 a day, and he's doing that competently in practice, that tells me it's more of an emotional component. So he gets nervous basically during games. And that's when somebody's got that mentality where all of a sudden they start sweating, getting nervous, and they just they don't want to mess up. And because they're so focused on not messing up that they mess up. And that's where I think they've got to get him some confidence. They've got to get him some just easy touches, easy catches, things of that sort, so he can emotionally start calming down a little bit. The game slows down. His nervousness isn't as high. Because, watching him out there, listening to him the little I have, and watching him outside of football, I do believe he's got a certain personality type that is more prone to mental errors and mistakes because of nerves. So just a thought for you. All right, Don, what do you got? Dr. D, love to know you have all but given up on J-Mo. I still believe him in space with some short passes only boost his confidence. Yeah, and I'm with you. I get we're talking about Jameson Williams a lot today, but I think he's going to be fine in time. It's just going to take time. All right, Silver Surfer, play action from Barry to Randy. Imagine that. Yeah. That would have been, to be honest, too, the Lions had some good receivers, too. But if you would have thrown Randy Moss in there with some of those 90s crews, yeah, that would have been tough. Yeah, T-Mac, exactly. Yeah, that would have been almost impossible to stop. All right, Pierce, we have to use in that way Casey used Tyreek Hill early before he fully figured it out. there's probably a lot of truth to it. And you got to leave it to Ben Johnson that he's going to work on it. I got to imagine at some point or level, they've done a lot of these things working with him. It's just, who knows, man? I mean, we're not a part of those, chats or whatever, but I can tell you from the route true we have seen him run so far, his intermediate stuff has been a little limited this year. They have tried to use him more on deep routes. So I don't know if that just means in practices or when they see him, working with some of the staff, that he's the deep shots are more his comfort level. It's the other nuances that he's not great at, and I'd probably say there's probably truth to that. Because you see when he comes in and out of breaks, when you see him go through the route tree, it currently is not a strength of his. All right, Randy, what do you got? The bye week could not have come to the Lions at a better time. Let the team heal. Yeah, and they needed it badly, again, especially at the offensive line. I'm still, just so you guys know, Randy and everybody else, I still believe that, we'll say in the next month-ish, so it could be 4 weeks, could be 6 weeks, that you're going to have Houston back. You're probably going to get, CJ back. And I say that about CJ because 2 weeks ago, he's doing push-ups in practice with the guys. And, not a full run, but he's able to do some push-ups with them. So if you're able to do that from a physical standpoint, I mean, you're a lot further along than I would have guessed at that point in his recovery. With it being a muscle injury of the upper body, I just think the tough part is he's got to go out and tackle people, right? So he's going to put some stress and strain on those muscles. But I do believe by the end of December, before Christmas, there's a real strong possibility he's back. If he gets back and he got Houston back, I do think that defense could, make a continued push up to be a little bit better. If nothing else, with both the guys, you've got better quality depth in the secondary, and you got another viable pass rush option. So I'm excited to see where this team goes. I don't think they've played their best ball yet. I think they're still working on some things, and you can say that with a lot of NFL teams. But I think the offense has the potential to take it up probably another level or 3. The defense, another level or 2. See what shakes out, though. Michael, what do you got? Green Bay has Lambeau Leap. Detroit now has the Ford pickup. Yeah, that's a good one. Ford pickup. Don Burr, yeah. Silver Surfer, we need a corner. Good. That's, unfortunately at this point, the only way you're getting a good corner is through the draft. And I'm going to hold off on some of the draft talks until a little bit later in the year, or maybe do some stuff, or at least, just on a side note kind of thing. I want the focus of the channel to be on the season. But to your point, Silver, yeah, I think in the off season, we're probably going to want to target offensive line first. I'd say in the first round, unless there's a free agent acquisition. Corner second. Edge rusher third. I mean, you could probably play with those numbers, move them around to, this position first or second. But yeah, probably those are the 3 primary needs of this team going forward. All right, Don, Michael, yes, Ford Field pickup after every TD needs to be a thing. F the Lambeau Leap, LOL, correct. 40 degrees. All right. Well, it's about the same, I would say. Don, I just want my percentage for my invention for field pickup. You should get some shirts with that, man. You get some shirts and market those. 32 here, T-Max says, with a high of 52. Yeah, it's not going to be warm here at all today. Phil, 28 here in Traverse City. You're a little bit colder than where we are here in Kalamazoo. All right, Robert, good morning from Lake Placid, Florida. Robert, what's the temperature there, man? Probably a little bit warmer than here. All right, Brent, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones will be a great addition as another red zone threat. I agree with you. And I know I've mentioned it before, his run blocking as well is going to be significant. We can also say, since we talked about Jameson Williams so much, he's been very good in the run blocking game. He seems to salivate at the idea of going out there and hitting people. St. Brown, also very good at it. Josh Reynolds, good at it. So I guess what you could say in a nutshell is the team, especially the wide receiver room, takes some pride in it. And I get it because the way the team is focused from MCDC and everybody else, they want to be physical all the time. And you can see it's passed on to all the receivers. Peoples Jones is going to come in already good at that and could maybe take it up in their level with that. Phil, would like to see Philly lose. Me too. I'll probably even watch that game. I got to show a house down in Dowagiac today at noon. Going to be a big one. I'm going to have to wear orange because it's got a lot of acreage and got to go out there. And not the time of the year to really be walking around in the woods showing property. So maybe I'll even wear Mountain Dew on the top of my head or something. Anyways, 9 drinks, Deerfield Beach, Florida here. Yeah, well, I feel your pain down there, 9 drinks. Feeling the pain. All right, Dr. D, Don, JMO should be way further along. Yeah, I am done with the dude. He should be, but is what it is. I just want to see steady growth and progression out of him. If he, again, not to be the dead horse, if he hasn't by the end of the season, then I think Detroit's in a tough spot with him. All right, Phil, I get it. I just was asleep. It happens, man. Michael, morning. Hopefully, Eagles lose. Yeah, I think I have to imagine most of the Lions fans are out there are probably going to be watching that game and some other ones, but that's probably going to be the primary focus because obviously Philly loses, then we're tied with them for number 1 seed. I'd have to look at the tiebreakers. We've lost to one NFC team. Does anybody know? I mean, I guess I could look it up who the other Philly loss is. If the other loss they currently have was also an NFC team, then by tiebreaker, we would be the number 1 seed. All right, Brent, I always root against the Cowgirls. Not America's team anymore. Go Lions. Well, it's either way. I guess you could say to a certain degree it helps us. All right, Dr. Detroit. However, Gibbs showed me something. Now just need Campbell and JMO to come through. Maybe next year, huh? Maybe. I would say this to you, Dr. D. I think Jack Campbell is evolving and improving. And, he's doing something because they're even starting him now. I get Harris had an opportunity this year, and he just has laid a dud, so they took him out. But we're trying to be as fair and as analytical as I can. I could say this with Jack Campbell. He is improving in multiple areas. I get as an outside backer, basically a rusher, it's not something he's really done before, and he is showing steady improvement. I do think, I talked about this, I want to say yesterday, when I watch him try to take on the tackles or some of the guards and get past them, you can tell everything is just kind of slow and rough. He's having to think about what to do, and it's slowing him down. I do think either later this year or definitely next year, it just has more time to go from short-term memory to long-term memory. He's going to be fine, and he's probably going to improve significantly. We'll see what shakes out, though. T-Mac, I hope we can balance and continue D-Mo and Gibbs both being successful. If done right, that could be a game-changing combo of backs. To your point, I was thinking at some point, maybe later in the year, there could be opportunities for us to have 21 personnel. So the 2 and the 1, meaning the 2 in your number. So if you hear people say 13 personnel, 12 personnel, the first number is the amount of backs you have, running backs on the field. So 21 personnel, you're going to have 2 backs in the backfield, probably split wide with those 2 guys. It used to be in the 90s and 80s, we call that pro set stuff. But at any rate, I do think that the second half of the year, you're probably going to see some of that from time to time. And it's a good combo. I mean, because they can both go inside. Gibbs probably has more of a chance to go outside, but they also both can catch. And you can run some wheel routes or in routes with especially Gibbs coming out of the backfield. That's going to be tough for backers to cover. A lot of linebackers are going to struggle to keep up with that kid. So do you now have to pull a safety or corner out of coverage and assign them to him? We'll see what shakes out. T-Mac, yeah, running back. Yeah, I knew what you meant, man. Gary, what do you got? Coach, what round were you drafted by Circle K? That was probably the number 1 pick, man. That's a good one, man. Yeah, I've been there for years, man. Same one. Bobby's been there, and before Bobby, gosh, man, over 10 years ago, there's a girl named Dolores. She would be the morning, person to open up. And yeah, they knew what to do as far as having everything ready for me when I got in. Knew roughly what time I'd be there, stuff like that. So, all right, Phil. Greetings, salutations. 9 drinks, GS 9 drinks. Loyal friend and legendary chatter. Yeah, I think if you look around, most of the Lions information on YouTube and maybe other platforms. Yeah, everybody knows who 9 drinks is. and a number of you guys. I mean, Dr. D, there's a ton of you guys that you see you guys in other chats. Before I even did this channel, I would just watch stuff. I would see you guys out there. All right, Phil, JMO afraid of getting hit and hurt. And I don't know if it's that as much as just fear of failure. When you watch him, when you listen to him, I think it's just he does not process stress very well. And it's, I get he's younger, so maybe he gets past that. But he's aware of the spotlights on him. He's aware of some of his faults. And I think he's, to a certain degree, kind of beating himself. All right, Dr. D, what do you got? Yeah, he is scared to take it. There could be some truth to it. I mean, I'm not discrediting that at all. All right, Nine Drinks, Cowgirls hate is real, but today is a toss-up. Yeah, and I'm pulling for the Cowboys today just for selfish reasons. I want Philly to lose so we can gain ground. That's the only reason why I'm rooting for either one of them. Phil, too much mentoring can lead to confusion. Yeah, there could be some truth to that. He could be a little bit overwhelmed by things. Dr. D, only he was here last year. He was, but he was a little limited. And I get, would he come back with like 5 games left, something like that? Only if he was here last year. Yeah, I knew what you meant, man. Is what it is. All right, Don, Dr. D, most guys aren't coming in blazing the league on fire. 9 games in only. I was never worried about Gibbs, Campbell. I think JMO will only get better. Can be go routes. Yeah, I think, again, you guys have heard me talk about this morning. He's going to get better, in my opinion. It's just, it might not be rapid growth. I think so. Rapid growth. Laporta just came in on fire. You can't say rapid growth. Same with Brian Branch. I mean, they were just different beasts, rare for rookies to come in and do what they do. When you look at the vast majority of rookies throughout NFL history, Jack Campbell, Gibbs, on the other hand, they both have to evolve a little bit, and they've done it, I think, at a fairly quick pace. Jameson Williams, he's just not on that pace, man, and it is what it is. All right, Phil, get the Paul and JMO hands. All right, Dr. D, that is my hope, but I am not betting on it. Don, can't be or go routes only. Yeah, no, he's got to evolve to more than that. Dr. D, I do agree with that point. Yeah, he's got to keep growing. Phil, some of those drops were pass interference uncalled. Yeah, and I do think there's some of that, like I talked about, specifically one in the Ravens game. CCP, what do you got? When we win the division. Yeah, I do believe we will win it. It's just, what point in the season does it happen? The more we can get, obviously, everybody else in the division to keep losing and we keep winning, then at some point we're just mathematically going to secure it much quicker than probably any other division out there in the league this year. Phil, JMO is blocking downfield really well. Yeah, he is. Give him credit for that. He is doing that. We'll see what shakes out as far as his receiving game. He needs to keep his eye on the ball and not worry about the linebacker or safety hitting him. Yep, and if he's taking his eyes off because he's worried about the hit, yeah, he's going to have to get past that, to your point, Dr. D, or he'll never make it as a wide receiver. Hey, Jennifer, what's going on? Just want to say good morning to the Pride. Good morning to you, too. Hopefully you're having a good one there, Jennifer. J Mommy, it's going to take a while for JMO to get used to catching the ball with his hands. I've heard that he is working very hard in practice. Yeah, and he probably is. And, I keep saying just give him this season. See what he does at the end of the season. If he hasn't shown clear progress, then that's a real worry sign, at least to me. We'll see what happens. Dr. D, good morning, Jen and J Mommy. Yep, good morning to everybody. Phil, that catch for a TD was an outstanding catch. It was. He just needs to keep doing that. Dr. D, he has more drops than catches. Yeah, got to try to even out that, right? Try to at least get to 500 on that situation. So congrats on the catch, I guess. All right, Don, Dr. D, that is true. He looks for the contact too much. Just takes the ball first in the NFL. Isn't it hard to allow it? Yeah, I agree. So, Man Bear, good morning. Duke Crew, good morning to you too. Mile Marker, DC has emphasized growing the team to be peaking as it is hitting the end of season playoff time. Yep, and I think Campbell, yeah, he's getting the team to be physical, and I do think so. To your point, I think Mile Marker, look at what they're doing with Scoresdale. And then, Broderick Martin. I think they've been very uh, calculated bringing these guys along, not trying to give them too much. And I don't think either one of them are going to be starting unless there's just a ton of injuries or something to spots. But I do think they're going to both bring in a lot of good depth. You look at some of the other pieces and parts they've already put out there. They've been growing, been developing. Uh, we've talked about Jameson Williams a ton this morning, more than I probably would have guessed. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, if nothing else, he brings another body where if there is an injury, Jameson Williams isn't forced into this kid's already nervous and struggling a little bit. Now you're not forcing him into even more of a, weight on his back. So you're going to help alleviate some of the pressure from him. I do think, to your point, though, the team is developing. They're getting healthier. Everything's setting up for a good run into the end of the year and then the playoffs. All right, Dr. D. Yeah, he hears footsteps. That cross pass that hit him in the forearm was him scared too much getting hit. I would agree with that. Phil, Tesla or Volt, which is better? Oh, boy. It really depends. I guess at this point I would say Tesla, although I will also say I love my Volt to death, man. That thing was awesome. Rode that thing for years until the deer took it out. J Mommy, isn't Stafford injured? I believe he is. I do believe he busted up like his thumb or one of his hands on somebody's helmet. So yeah, he's probably going to miss a little bit of time. And I'll say this for Stafford. You guys heard me say it. I love the guy to death. I do think his body's taken enough damage where if I'm his wife and his family, I'm probably saying, yo, why don't we just call it good here? You've made enough money. We should be set. Let's not have you be the old punched up boxer. So we'll see what he does. Dr. D, by the way, that cross pass that hit, the cross pass is his pass to light the league up if he catches it. Yeah, if he starts catching that and turning upfield, he's going to cause some problems. We just got to get him there. Phil, Chuck Long. I think he was a better coach than an NFL player, and he's become a decent college football coach. He was a great college football player. It just didn't translate for a lot of reasons to the NFL, and that's part of the problem. Dr. D, when isn't Stafford injured? His first 2 years in the league, I get he took some shots and he got hurt. Then he had something stupid like whatever it was, 7 years without any injuries. It's just the last several where, yeah, you can see all the hits are starting to build up on his body. And that's kind of my point. I think it's time for him to just bow out and step away and live a life. He's got some kids. He's got a wife. He's got a family. Man, maybe it's okay to step away from football at this point. 9 drinks. What? Chicago have no quarterback. Yeah, at some point Fields is going to come back. And, man, what do you guys think they should do? I mean, Fields has shown some improvement in my eyes. Do you really let him go at the end of the season and draft one of the upcoming rookie quarterbacks, or do you use those picks on other parts for the team? I don't know. That would be a tough one. I think if I'm the Chicago front office, not what I would do, what I think they're going to do, I think they are going to take another quarterback, and that's too bad because I think if you keep allowing Justin Fields to develop, he could be something. I don't know. It's a tough one. I guess, selfishly as a Lions fan, I hope they just mess everything up, stay horrible for the next, 20 years. Same with Green Bay and, same with Minnesota. I hope you draft every draft pick's a bust, every free agent signing's hurt. But in a realistic expectation, I'm thinking they will take a rookie quarterback. Gary, what do you got? I did like Batch, but I hated when he would throw a pick. He would smile. Why? What are you smiling? Yeah, some people when they mess up, they do that, and it's more like a nervous twitch. They know they aired, they know they're on TV, they know they just cost the team something, and they just kind of nervously smile. So it is what it is. Chargers over Packers today. Yeah, I think. Hey, I hope that everybody in the division loses because you know what? That means we keep progressing up and getting closer and closer to winning the division. All right, James, what do you got? Good morning, Coach. Happy Sunday. Look forward to next Sunday. Me too, man. Me too. And real quick, if you guys haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. All right, Dr. D, I can see that in the kid too, Dan. Not just scared to get hit, but his emotions need to get better checked. Yeah, if man, I don't want to break down somebody's personality type on here, but so you guys know I do scouting, and when you go and watch somebody, you can see if they're talented and if they've got the skill sets, to play in league A, Y, or B or whatever. It takes, man, 10, 15 minutes. You should be able to figure out, does this person have the skill sets to play in league A or B? Now I got to sit around and watch somebody for another hour, hour and a half sometimes to figure out their personality trait. And it's one thing I do think the Lions do a pretty good job with. They might have missed the boat on Jameson Williams. Is just you look at the personality types over almost everybody they've drafted. They're all basically the same. They're all St. Brown types, alpha personalities, or driver personalities, what do you want to call them, who are they got a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, a reason to grind a little bit harder to prove everybody, see, you were wrong on me. Jameson Williams is not that guy by any stretch. He is an introverted personality type, which means he just doesn't like talking with people. He's shy. I think of, oh God, who's the running back that the Saints drafted with Ditka and they traded every draft pick for? I can't remember his name, but Ricky Williams. Jameson Williams is Ricky Williams. He just is out at receiver. He wants to be as away from everybody, from talking, as can be. I get he does some stuff on social media, but to me, that's a person who's going to be a whole lot more nervous. And once they make a mistake or two, those become additional weights on their back, and they just have a hard time moving on. It's something you would never want a cornerback, because if you get beat once as a corner, you gotta forget about that. You got to get ready for the next play, or you're going to get lit up again. Jameson Williams has a hard time emotionally moving on from mistake A and just moving on to having a clean slate for the next play or play B. So your point, Dr. D, is he somebody I would have drafted if we would have assessed that or made a recommendation to be drafted? Hell no. That being said, he is here. You got to help him grow up. He's, my opinion, he's almost like a little kid when you talk to him. You got to be a little bit kinder and nurturing to this generation, because you just can't emotionally take that kind of, tough love, whatever you want to call it. So, all right, I'm moving on from that topic, man. All right, Phil, what do you got? I believe JMO is afraid of getting hit on crossing routes. I believe he's afraid of getting hit, period. But you're going to have to help toughen him up, because he is a weapon if you can get him there. Vance, or what do you got? LaVance, he needs a sports psychologist. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that, man. But, that's a tough one, because dealing with people's personalities is a whole lot different than dealing with somebody's injuries. Injuries just heal on their own over time. Then you just got to reestablish, especially if it's like a knee or back, trust in it. Personalities, you've got to do some real work to help them get past it. Let J-Mo field kicks. Maybe. I just think they don't want to do that. And this is just my opinion, because if he gets hurt out there where now he misses a few weeks or months because of an injury, he's already behind as far as development because of his injury last year. And now he's struggling this year. I mean, man, he would have almost lost 2 years of development. All right, Dr. D. Band, we are really on this J-Mo kick today. J-Mo would get smoked in kick returns. Yeah, he would be exposed to some big shots. 9 drinks. Isn't Green Bay Chargers tomorrow night? I'd have to check, man, to be honest. Don, Green Bay Rams today. All right, Dr. D tried to make him an NFL receiver, if not on. Yep, okay. Motown Gridiron. If J-Mo can't catch a pass, how's he going to catch a punt? Oof, could be some truth to that. Smoke you some. Oh, I want to see Micah Parsons break Hursts in half. That would be a good Sunday. Yeah, if they lose him, that would change them significantly. To your point. Can't catch. Yeah, I knew where you're at, man. Phil, if I'm not out working in the yard or driveway, I'll be watching or listening. Yeah, I'll probably be listening to a lot of stuff, watching some a little bit. Mr. Nico, hey, good morning to you. Good morning, coach and crew. The Cowboys, Eagles, and 49ers have a tougher schedule than Detroit left in the season in their schedule. Does Detroit look like they may be a number 1 seed in the NFC eventually? I do think so, Mr. Nico. I do think we got a real good opportunity to get the number 1 seed. but in order to do it, you need Philadelphia to lose a game or two. And if Philadelphia keeps winning, the best we can ever do is stay the number 2 seed. But we'll see what things shake out. I do think we've got a real good opportunity to be the number 1 seed. Phil, many Packers fans here in the North, Green Bay, closer than Detroit here. Yeah, you get, especially where you're at, Phil, and then the Upper Peninsula. I know when I go up there, there are a lot of Packers fans there. There's a restaurant, oh boy, over by Detour Village. It's not in Detour Village. I forget the guy's name, but he was like a huge, it's like Looperman's or something like that. Huge Lions fan. You go there, it's out in the middle of nowhere in the UP. And yeah, there's just Detroit Lions gear everywhere. There's a van the dude would drive from there to Ford Field every home game. And I guess he did it for like 20 plus years. He did pass away, I want to say 2 years ago, and the Lions did honor him. They did a moment of silence before a game because, I mean, that's a drive, and he would do it from there to Ford Field for every home game. But he was also not the majority up there. It's kind of to your point, is that the majority of the fans around him were Green Bay Packers fans. All right, Jennifer, what do you got? I think it's kind of stupid we're even talking about Detroit because from the national media, they already have the 49ers win in the Super Bowl because of them taking Chase Young. Yeah, and it's just media biased. I mean, we're going to have to earn some respect. Jennifer, I think we all get it. When you've been this bad this long, people are going to look to doubt you. We are Charlie Brown running at that football, and everybody's expecting, Lucy to take the football away. So, all right, Pierce, what do you got? I'm also very happy we aren't on the hook for $25 million per year to Sweat. Yeah, and, that's the one thing with Chicago, man. You look at all the money they're tying up with some linebackers on that D. I mean, they're making a huge investment there, and maybe it works out for them. But I, for one, am just very surprised. Jay Mommy, what the so-called experts say is irrelevant. The Lions have proven them wrong many times this year. And to your point, Jay Mommy, look at the Lions in the last 2 years. So this year and last year, we'll say, against Vegas. I mean, the Lions have cost Vegas a wee bit of money during that time. I'm surprised they still offer lines on the Detroit team or Lions because, they've not done well with us. Man, Bear, 28 here in Farrell, Michigan. Well, I don't know. I don't think we're that cold, but we're probably not that far from it. Ken, you don't want that Ford pickup. It'll break and we'll have more injuries. Oh boy, here we go. Nine drinks. It's only 75. Yeah, a tough life you got there, buddy. Tough life. Phil, is getting local guys from the state, as in Donovan Peoples-Jones and the kid from GVSU, a coincidence or a strategy? Just coincidence, I think. Maybe to a small degree, it's a factor when signing somebody, but I don't. I mean, basically, they're looking for the best players in the team. All right, Don Burr at Ken, laugh out loud. Yeah, Ford found on the road dead. Yeah, oh boy, here we go. Hey, Wilson, aloha to you. As of 2:36 a.m. out here on the island of, boy, I'm going to kill that name, Kauai, Hawaii, it's 71 degrees. Highs in the winter in the low to mid 80s. Thanksgiving and Christmas on the beach. Yeah, tough life, man. Tough life. Pierce, it's only 68 here in South Florida. Yes, only Pierce. Yeah. Don, Pierce flexing on us in Michigan. Only 68. Yeah. Wilson, man, all you guys in warm weather, you guys got tough lives. Dr. D, glasses purple, yellow, diamond. Yeah, it happens. Best uniforms for the blue helmets, man. Who knows, man? I was not a fan of the Monday night setup, but you know what? They don't ask me. Pierce, Don, just a little bit. All right, guys, we're an hour in, so I'm going to cut it off so I can go get the morning dew and then get going on. What do you got here? Trump's signed Carlos Dunlap for no draft picks. I guess it just comes down to what do they think he's got left in the tank. I mean, it's not. I know there's him and a couple other guys they've talked about. Boy, I really got to fix this green screen thing. Actually, get a green screen. But anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Terry, how did Scoresdale grade out with the two new guys at guard? Maybe that might allow Jackson to walk and get more favorable contract. They're going to have a tough one with him, but I do think they're going to have a hard time re-signing him. And then they've got Decker's contract, which isn't horrible, by the way. You got Ragnow, and then you got Penei Sewell that you're going to have to sign. Unfortunately, I don't think they all make it. So enjoy him while you got him. I will say this: Big B's done after this year. I just think it's his back. But anyway, all right, it's due 30 here. I got to get going. I hope you all have a great one. If there's some breaking news later today, I'll of course get on and let you guys know. Get your rooting guides ready. Get your stuff to do while you're watching and listening. Hope you all have a good one. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Really like to try to get to 4,300 before the Chargers game. Also, I don't know, I was going to say something else, but I don't remember. So hope to see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, guys.